Hi, Will. It's so lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me today. So, you are a violinist based up here in York.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit why you started playing the violin.
Um, well, I guess it's just, I mean, it's just because my friend really played it at primary school, isn't it? I mean, but I loved music before. As a very small child, we always had a piano in the house, and I would just bash it, you know, make tuneless tunes, I guess. But yeah, I've always been very drawn to sound and music, and I guess after starting on piano, I wanted to learn a new one, and because my friend just happened to be playing violin, I was like, you know what, I want to play violin. I think that's what I want to do, and now I'm here basically. But yeah.
And by here, you go to Huntington School, and when we had a chat, you'd also performed in some of the master classes, both on violin and piano at the York Music Hub. Um, how has your school really helped to support you in your musical journey?
Um, the music department have been like honestly amazing, and they've had so many kind of musical things happening all the time. I've been given opportunities to lead rehearsals and rehearse bands. I was part of organising string groups and organising a repertoire, and like all the music for that, and that was a really good it was a really good experience for me as someone who actually didn't have that experience before, and something that was actually quite important in the world of music. And they have performances that like all around the year basically, and it's just a really exciting thing to be part of. They were extremely supportive of me being in the National Youth Orchestra, and they've come and seen me twice perform in Nottingham now, and take part in the Come and Play NYO Inspire project that happens before the concert. So it's really nice to kind of let them into that kind of world as well, where they can, the music department can contact NYO and go, can we come along to this? And, bring the students, and the students have this great opportunity to play alongside me and lots of other NYO musicians in an orchestra setting for an hour, which is just a really good, it's just a great feeling. And really, every musician should have that ensemble um, atmosphere experience, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And how is working in the workshops, performing in the workshops at the Hub, how's that helped you?
Um, it's just been really good to perform for someone who you really look up to. You learn so much from people around you, and even just and then you look up to these amazing soloists that your Guildhall amazingly just like bring in to play concertos and things. It's like, where are you getting these people from? And like people like Tasman Little, who I was really lucky to perform for in the masterclass. Someone who I think is one of the best violin players around today, and for her to kind of give you feedback, compliments, critiques, it's just such a great feeling that you've got this very established player giving you all this knowledge and insight that otherwise you might not have if you hadn't got your act together and signed up for that masterclass and everything. And I think it's just everyone who does the masterclasses, they're really lucky to have that opportunity to kind of connect with that person for I think it's half an hour slots each, and certainly was when I was doing it. And it's just, yeah, there's words don't really put it to justice, I think, because you got your teacher who's, basically just teaching you and giving you really useful pointers and everything. But when you play for someone who performs for a living, it's a totally different kind of aspect. So whether they might be whether they're not quite as good as at articulating what they want from you as your teacher, it doesn't really matter as much, because you still have that connection with that person who you really look up to. And you learn so much from watching people perform, watching recordings on YouTube or whatever, and it's heightened to 200% when they're literally just telling you no, do the shift on the note rather than before your bow or whatever like that. And just these little things that they pick up on, and immediately you sound like them, I guess. And it's oh, this feels really good.
Wow. So you are coming up to your final year at Huntington. What's next for you?
Yeah, so I finished Huntington last week.
Congratulations. Also, good luck for your A-levels. You'll be great. You'll be great.
So yeah, next is music college. So I've got a place at the Royal Academy of Music down in London, and I've got my teacher all sorted. It's just waiting till September now. It's just that wait now, but I'm so excited. London's such a vibrant place, and I will be sad to leave York, but I think to get the right, I feel like I'm going to the right place, I think. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be amongst loads of really high quality musicians who you will play with for basically most of your day, which I really want and I really need, especially after a pandemic. I really want that.
We all need live music, particularly during/after the pandemic. We're going to say after. So are you particularly keen to study orchestral, solo, or chamber music?
I would say I'm very passionate about chamber music. I'm very passionate about being a soloist and performing. Performing in general is just such a great feeling. But there's something about being in a chamber group that there's not really anything quite like it. And it's why I was really keen to get kind of string groups going at Huntington and organising them, because there's so much to learn from being in a small, tight-knit group of string players, or even for me, string players, potentially a piano for a piano quintet, but any other like wind quintet and everything, just a tight-knit group, and you learn so much from playing with everyone. It's like you get a bit psychic, and you kind of read each other's minds in this really weird way, and you read each other's tiny body language inflections on how you're playing the music and everything, and you improve so much from just playing with other people in that setting. I think it's just something everyone should experience, because it's not like playing with a pianist as in your solo recital. It's not like playing in a section for your orchestra. You're on your own, you've got your own part, but there are 3, 4, 5 other people playing that also their own part. There's nowhere to hide. So it's just this amazing kind of feeling from all of these musicians kind of coming together and creating this piece, all from these little parts that you've got, basically. So I think that's what I'm really passionate about. I also love solo performing, because I'm attention seeking. No, I think just the buzz of kind of sharing a lot of hard work that you've done with an audience that is really responsive to that is it's just a great feeling, really, especially when it goes well.
It's about creating those relationships. So creating the relationships in the chamber ensemble, but also when you're a soloist, creating that relationship with the audience and helping them to have this shared experience that is so unique to live performance and to music. It's you bear a little bit of your soul and share it with the audience. So I fully understand.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if it goes wrong, like they're still so grateful that you shared something that you're really passionate about, and it all comes from you, and they're really and the audience are always really kind of supportive of that, and they can see that you put in so much work, and you might play a little bit out of tune, you might, you know, do a dodgy shift, you might breathe in the wrong place or something, but it all comes down to the fact that you're sharing your hard work with someone and they're receiving it really gratefully, because you know they might not do that, so it's this kind of art form that they've never got the experience to do, so they're just really grateful for your I guess sharing of it, because I'm just really passionate about the fact that music's very much a sharing art form, whether it be like live performance or recorded performance, you're always sharing a sound, and I think that's just really important. And even if someone doesn't like it, you know, they you still gave it to them. You still gave them the option to like it. It's nothing on you. But yeah, I just love performing, basically. Yeah.
I've got to say, as an audience member, no one can tell your mistakes, only you can.
It is, yeah. I've had things, I've come off stage and I was like, oh no, wasn't that awful? And everyone's like, I didn't notice a thing. Like,
No.
you're the one that's got every minute detail in your head. Everyone else is just enjoying it. They're like, well, this is great, isn't it? You know, I love this. But you're the one worrying. So even if you make a tiny little slip up, the audience will never notice most of the time. So it's just, you know, you've just got to think about the fact that they've just really enjoyed themselves, I think, and just, yeah, sharing your music.
And we've spoken about the violin, and I can see your piano behind you. What else do you do creatively? Do you perform any other instruments? Are you secretly a Shakespearean actor? Do you compose?
Yeah, I do compose, kind of more so after this lockdown, I guess, because maybe performance wasn't the option. So I kind of went, how can I fulfill my creative needs? I do really enjoy composing. I also really enjoy conducting, and I have some conducting lessons once a week as well. I'm really passionate about most arts, actually. So I did art A level, and whilst that was an experience of sorts, but I really enjoy creating visual art in that visual medium, because that's something that you don't necessarily always get out of music. It is there sometimes. You've got graphic scores and everything, and that's very artistic. But your more traditional side of music doesn't always have such a visual stimulation, and I really enjoy that kind of, you can see it, you can like kind of analyze it through your sight, you know, sight through your eyes. I don't know, but yeah. So I'm really passionate about that. I was also part of York Youth Theatre up till kind of early 2020, before the pandemic. I didn't carry on with it because of I don't think I could face any more online things and looking at screens.
School, yeah.
It is hard, but I really, that's performing again, you know, and I guess in theatre you've got artistic side like visual medium and music coming across, and those two things like colliding is just a really nice thing in my head. I think it works. But yeah, I think.
No, that's great. And can you tell me what your favorite musical experience is? I think
Favorite
more
concert,
than one. I mean, I have
favorite concert kind
that's
of thing.
yeah, that kind of thing.
Well, I think it all comes down to how much your performers care and how much they're really into what they're doing. And this is something that you see in youth orchestras mostly. So I was part of City of Leeds Youth Orchestra, and they always had this very um, always had love for the music they were playing. You know that it's always been, and they always present it in that way, which gives the audience like immense satisfaction from what they're watching, basically, because you don't want anything boring, I guess. Not that any music is boring. It all depends on how it's perceived by someone. But yeah, so I guess my favorite would be with NYO and performing with NYO. There's a lot of there are about three really distinct examples. Probably the first one I had was when I played Bernstein's Mass at South Bank Centre with Marin Alsop conducting. Um, it's an insane piece. If anyone has not listened to it, I really recommend listening to it. It will broaden your horizons immensely. But it's just this. Bernstein just brings in this kind of all these worlds of music that really shouldn't go together, but he puts them together anyway, and it works. Um, so that was just an hour and 45 minutes of constant playing and um, like oral stimulation, and it was just a really great feeling to be part of that concert and presenting something that's not actually performed a lot or enough. Um, um, it does feel quite special doing that. My second favorite, was it second favorite? They're all the same tier. They're all. The second one,
In order.
it, yeah. Second one is when I played at the Proms with NYO with Nicola Benedetti and Mark Wigglesworth conducting. We did new music, which is always amazing. We opened the program with Icarus, and that was just it's such a cinematic piece just to open your program with. And then we went on to Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto, which all-time classic, and it's just amazing to see someone so dedicated to their instrument, so in touch with how they're playing, and you can tell she really cares about how she's playing when she's doing the solo, when Nikki's doing the solo, and it's just a great experience to be in the orchestra playing offbeat crotchets while this mental concerto is going on in front of you. Um, so yeah, I mean that was a great thing. And then we also had in the program Romeo and Juliet, which was Prokofiev, and Mark Wigglesworth. He selected a number of scenes and put them together in because he thought they kind of told the story enough. Because otherwise, we're going to play like 3 hours of music.
Yeah.
And that's just not feasible. So we had to shrink it down to about 45 minutes, and I think it was a really good selection from him. It really conveyed that feeling and that story, that the power that story has behind it. It was a really emotional concert actually, because it was the end of that year of NYO, and everyone's like at the end because Juliet's dead. But it's just such a great piece, and we were sitting. It is on YouTube if you want to have a
Ooh.
look. It is on, but yeah, right at the end, Mark kind of holds the orchestra, and we got about like a full minute of silence before the kind of audience goes, should we clap? Yes, let's clap. And it's just this great kind of the whole Royal Albert Hall is there just in suspense because of what 164 of you on stage have just played, and that's just something you can't really. It's something I can't relive in my head because it was so in the moment, I guess. I think, and you know, it's something that everyone really should experience. That kind of
There's something
attention.
really special, yeah,
Yeah,
in having a space that large with that many people, both on stage but also in the audience, just captivated and in completely in the moment with you. So I get completely understand how immersive and amazing that experience must have been. You mentioned a third one, and I'm really interested.
yes. So that was the third one is the most recent concert I did with the symphony orchestra. NYO again. We're seeing a pattern here, and that was with Jaime Martin, and we played Alf singing. I'm not. I'm gonna. No, I'm not gonna say the name because honestly,
If you German, it's all right.
no. We actually sang at the start, and just this kind of 164 musicians sitting down to play their instrument, go and then sing, and then stand up, look towards the audience, and just start singing. There is something very powerful about the unexpected, and I think that really the audience felt that. And then we did Britten Symphony de Requiem, which is a huge piece to finish the first half, and it's Britain, so
Incredible. Always.
great music. And then for the second half, we did Shostakovich's 11th Symphony, and this symphony it's got a story behind it, and that is a kind of police massacre in a square in Germany in 1905. Not Germany, Russia.
Russia, Shostakovich.
Very sorry. In Russia, yeah, in Russia in 1905, and the way that Shostakovich has composed it is he's used folk songs that are traditionally kind of very patriotic Russian songs and weave them through this entire symphony to say a message about what he thinks that Russia should be and all of this kind of thing. And what NYO did was find these songs that were in the movement, translate them into English, and we sang them before we played that movement. So we had the story of that movement in our heads, basically, whilst playing that movement. And the audience had the story. They knew the words. The words were printed in the program and everything. And it was just, it just gave a deeper understanding about that work. Something which just makes it more heavy, I guess. But it is just incredible music, and contextually, when you put it into context, it's just even more incredible, I guess. So yeah, that probably my last great concert experience, because we had a pandemic, but yeah.
So hearing you speak about music is incredible, and I can't imagine you being anything but a performer. But have you ever wanted to be anything but a performer?
Probably not. I have always been very performative, and I do like, I love performing. I think it's something that everyone should try. It's not for everyone, and I get that, but kind of stepping out in front of someone and presenting something, whether that be music or like poetry or a TED talk, like it's just presenting something to an audience is something very special and something that we have lacked in the last year and a bit. And I'm really excited to see that return. I think I would. There was a moment where I was like, "Do I really want to do this? This seems like a dangerous territory, not particularly stable work." But and kind of thought about maybe going down the art visual kind of side of myself, and looking into how I can use that in performances, but not be the performer. So like maybe set, or kind of because I helped paint the backing set for the school panto. So I really enjoyed that. I was like, hang on, this is some no, we want to be a performer, it's fine.
Having spoken to you, I honestly can't imagine you doing anything else. You're so passionate and eloquent and dedicated, and performing it's something that takes a certain amount of fortitude, not just from the performer, but also from everyone around them. And it sounds like you've had a really solid support network, not just from family and friends, but also from your school and your teachers at Junior Academy, and everyone really. So I don't think you have to worry about a career in performing. I think that well, touch wood, unless there's another pandemic, and then everyone in the performing arts will have a tough time again. But I think you're going to go on to great things. So with that in mind, what advice would you give either young musicians starting at their journey, or what advice would you give to a younger version of you five years ago?
I think younger musicians, you've got to really be resilient for an unfortunately long time of your life, like up to basically when you leave school. If you want to go through into music and everything, you've got to really persevere, because I think, I mean, obviously I didn't give up, but plenty of times when it crossed my mind going, I can't do this anymore, because it was a stressful experience, but you get so much out of it at the end. All that work and stress is actually worth it, because there's just there's nothing quite like completing a piece, or there's nothing quite like performing a work that you've been working on for so long, and finally you've got it to a standard where you're happy with it and you can share it with people. And I think it's just really important for all musicians to have that before you kind of go, oh no, schoolwork, oh we might have to, like, park the music. The music helps with the schoolwork. It creates, like, I really had to think about when I was doing my practice, when I was performing, you lock everything else away. You don't want actual real life kind of bearing down on you when you're trying to do your like music, because whilst that may influence the way you're practicing, where you've had an awful day and you come back and like, oh god, play violin. We've all been there. It's like,
yes, you have.
yeah. Or you've had a really good day, you've had nothing to do all day, and you're like, you know what, I might go, and you voluntarily go, you know what, I feel like playing my violin. I think it'd be a really good thing to do. And then you get some really good work done. I think play your instrument every day, whether that be 5 minutes or 2 hours, it doesn't matter. Like, or sing every day if you're a singer. Like that, I can't stress enough how important it is to be surrounded by some like music all the time. Not I say all the time, not playing music all the time, but like, you've got your favorite song, you've got your favorite artist, you put them on in the background. It's still helping you like subconsciously understand music, because the more you listen to something, the more accustomed to it you become, and the more it kind of may affect your GCSE composition or your A-level composition. And you use everything in your in your area, basically. You go, and it all subconsciously goes into your head, and comes out in the musical sense if you're doing that. And so yeah, I guess persevere, one word, to young musicians. Play together. Don't decide that oh, I don't like so and so because they're better than me, so I'm not going to play with them. It's like, you can learn from so and so because if they are better than you, that doesn't matter. Then maybe they've learnt longer than you. Maybe they've they've got a different teacher than you, and they connect better with that teacher, and that relationship is better than what you may have with your teacher. There are plenty of reasons why they might be better than you, but you might have something that they could learn from, as well as they have something from you can learn from. And playing even just like violin duet or violin and piano, like it doesn't need to sound good. It doesn't like you're not performing it. It's just going in a practice room and thinking about kind of how this other player is playing this. Oh, that's quite interesting. I didn't think about phrasing that part like that. Is really valuable, and I wish I had more people to play with when I was in kind of the early stages of learning my instrument, because I mean there were groups and stuff that I did join, but it wasn't really like enough for me to properly like use in my own playing. And what's really nice to see now is that we've got things emerging in York that are actually like really positive things that people can join and people can learn from playing with other people. So play together, don't shy away from that. And even if your teacher's got a particular like hatred for this other teacher, just don't tell them. Just go and play with that student. It's fine. So yeah, persevere, play together, and listen to everything, whether you don't like it or you love it. Like, listen to so much music. If you like silence, have the silence from time to time. But I hate silence, as you can probably tell because I'm talking a lot. So I think just listening to so much, I keep finding new music that I've never heard of, and I basically live with music on all the time. So you can never stop finding new music to listen to, or just returning to your favorite music. Like, there's so much to learn there, and you're never a master at your instrument. You're never at that point where you can just stop because you've done everything. It's fine.
There's always more to learn.
There's always more to learn, and it's just finding that and using it, because it's just so important to being a musician. I guess what I would tell my younger self is all of those things, and also don't let anyone, if someone's really good and they know they're really good and they show they're really good and they're like, hi, I'm so good at the cello. I can play Elgar cello concerto. Would you like me to show you? And it can feel intimidating. Definitely, to a lot of people, especially people from state school who, unfortunately, music programs at state school they're not consistent among schools. I'm really lucky to have a very supportive music department that fights for their place in that school and really has solidified its place. But I know some schools in York just don't have that. They just don't have that music department that I'm really lucky to have. And I can't remember where I'm going with this, but yeah, I remember now. And basically, it's just, you've got to just kind of think, I play my instrument, but I'm not going to get like influenced by those people who have had that really good experience of going to private school or something, and they've got a really great music department there, and they sing every day, and they do all these incredible things that state schools just aren't funded for. And you've just got to think, look, I'm in this situation, but I'm not going to get that person who's playing the Elgar Cello Concerto influence my opinion on myself as a musician, because once you get that kind of imposter syndrome thing, it's very hard to get out of it without a big change in the dynamic of where you are or what you're doing. I felt this when I was learning in the Royal Academy Junior Royal Academy of Music. I felt like very much an outsider, coming down 200 miles a week. A week? Yeah, 200 miles every week. Go and play with people just who are rocking up at the door 5 miles away. And on top of that, have been to Purcell School. On top of that, have been playing violin since they were 3. And it's just all of those things stacked up. It does look very scary, but when you actually go and think about it, it's like, hang on, I got in there, or I auditioned for this orchestra and I got in. I deserve to be here, even if I'm at the back of seconds, which is a great spot to be, apart from the piccolos in your ear. But even if you're at the back of a section, you're still important to that orchestra, because if there wasn't someone at the back of the section, there would be no orchestra, So don't get intimidated by anyone, really, and don't let the fact that they're really good, or knowing they're really good, dampen the fact that you are actually at a similar level and you're really good as well, and you deserve to be in that place.
So it's about owning who you are, where you've been, and knowing you're enough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what you'd like to tell your 13-year-old self.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I'd like to tell my 18-year-old self that.
I think everyone might like to tell their 13-year-old self that, but especially in music, it's very important. It may not change. It may not just disappear. I don't think it will disappear for me. I will always become quite intimidated by people who may be like more advanced than me in learning harder pieces or whatever. But I won't shy away from the fact that I deserve to be where I am because I worked hard to get there.
Let it inspire you rather than diminish you.
Exactly. Yeah. Be inspired by them. God, yeah. Like, wow, this person's playing Elgar Cello Concerto. I don't the equivalent on the violin. Or
I was going to say, don't try that on the violin, please. Please leave that.
But yeah, and I mean, the second thing I would tell my younger self would probably get better fashion sense and look like this. But
we definitely all wish we could tell our 13-year-old selves that. There were some questionable choices in my past, and I thank goodness that social media wasn't around then. But I am often not reminded of it. So I'm going to be a bit cheeky. I have a feeling you might have been working on something on the violin very recently, and would you mind giving us a little demonstration?
Yeah, of course, I can do that. Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to pause the recording so that you can get in place, because you look like you're quite hemmed in there. So just so that everyone's aware, I am pausing the recording. This is really special. Are you ready? Are you in place?
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
Yeah. So I'm going to play the Saraband from Bach's Partita No. 2 in D minor.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful and so special. I feel very emotional and privileged because it was like having my own personal concert. So thank you. I've been without live music for a while, and it's tricky. So, and that was incredible and very beautifully played. Thank you so much, and thank you for agreeing to spend some time talking to me.
It's all right.
Very best of luck with everything. I have no doubt that I will be seeing your name in programs throughout the rest of your career. I think you're going to be having a lot of fun.
We can hope so. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.